saw all these things. All of these things were happening. We found, we stumbled across Facebook groups with, 10-15% of the entire workforce using Facebook. Now, wouldn't we rather have those conversations and those social connections and everything happening in a place where they can talk about work without, fear of data security? We found people were blogging externally about what they're doing at work. Wouldn't this be better to have it internally where it's sanctioned? We don't put restrictions on them, but people can talk and share that data. We found our intranet, to the point that was made earlier, no one was using it. Content was stale. Content was boring. It was corporate sanitized. They had to go through 27 approvals to get on there. And because the content was stale and boring, people weren't using it. And so people were finding their search and finding their intellectual capital not from the intranet. And I mean, where do you guys find, if you need to find intellectual capital in your organization, are you finding it from your corporate intranet, or are you talking to the people you know? Within our organization, the running joke was, what's the best source of intellectual capital? It's the partner's hard drive. Because he's been here 10 years and he's collected all that stuff on his hard drive, and if you know him, go talk to him, he'll send you whatever he has. Or he'll put you in touch with the hundreds of people that he knows, and you can get it from them. Not the best process for finding this data, especially if you're working a proposal at midnight and everyone's asleep. And then the other point is, everyone's talking about telecommuting, flexible work schedules. The lines between work and personal life are blurring. People spend half an hour on Facebook during the day checking out what their friends are doing, but then they spend half an hour doing some work at night and answering email. So when these things start blurring back and forth, you need to figure out a way to get people to come online and engage in work outside of business hours. Walton, do you want to kind of talk about what we're doing with Enterprise 2.0?
Sure. Thanks, Steve. As Steve said, it was a perfect storm for us. We had just finished we're 20,000 folks spread out across the world. We just finished doing a people survey to kind of get a take on where our folks were. And they felt like they were not connected. They didn't understand exactly where their organization was going. They didn't know. It was one thing when we were 3,000 people, but now that there's 3,000 people in different groups, how do they figure out how they fit into the organization? We just finished rolling out can you hear me? Is that any better? Sorry. We just finished rolling out a SharePoint application, but in good consulting speak, we rolled out the SharePoint 03 about a month and a half before Microsoft rolled out SharePoint 07. Just like most of my government customers, we're always trying to play catch up with the technology with that. And we found that with SharePoint, we were doing a good job of collaborating around documents. So if you had a team that you already knew and you were going to do a document and you wanted to have check-in, check-out, that worked well. But it didn't give us true collaboration. It didn't give us the ability to find other ideas and be able to bring in the breadth of the full organization. So we took a step back and said, we're doing okay on the structured side, but how do we tackle the unstructured side of the house? How do we start getting what's in his head and my head and others and stop having emails? Because for all practical purposes, email became our collaboration tool, which is great if you know who you're collaborating with. But I guarantee you, when I walk out of here, I'll have 3 or 4 emails that have gone to the whole firm saying, do you know? And the reason people are sending those do you knows out is because people respond. But it's only helping that one person that gets the email, because heaven forbid you reply to all, and then you get 15 don't reply to all emails. So we knew that system wasn't working. So we took a step back and said, okay, there's got to be a tool set out there that can help us with this. So we sat down with IBM, and their tool is great, and they're doing a lot of good work on it. But for 20,000 folks, it was going to be about $2 million a year in licensing alone, and that just wasn't something that I could get the partners to sign off on this. Hey, let's figure out how we can use Enterprise 2.0. By the way, I need $2 million.
What is their tool called?
Profiles. They've got a couple. It's basically 3 products that they have pulled together that gives you the ability to do the blogging and wikiing, and then they have Dog Ears, which is their social bookmarking tool, and some other stuff. It's from when we looked at it 6 months ago to where we saw it at the Enterprise 2.0 conference, it's light years ahead of where it was. So they understand where it's going, where to go. So I think they're moving in the right direction. It's just it's an expensive. If you're looking for a turnkey solution, it's not a bad solution to look at.
And you have $2 million.
Yeah. And if you do, we'd be happy to help. Then we're a Microsoft shop. We went to Microsoft and said, we know you're going in this direction. Can you help us? And they just weren't there yet. Their idea is to get NewsGator and a couple other companies to fill the gaps